Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
Sport greetings to you wherever you are in the world joining us tonight. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwa. Cecilia, good times with league football development in Nigeria. I love the competition. And these days, there's no way you can talk about the MPFL without mentioning Bendel Insurance.
Of course, I mean, they're flying. But hey, I mean, are they really flying right now? I think they're crawling. They've stopped flying. 2 draws back to back. Not good enough. Plateau United is next, and that will be in Jos. I hope that unbeaten run that is 11 will not end when they go to Jos this weekend. Yes, we'll be talking about Nigeria Professional Football League. And also, as you talked about, so many competitions are coming up. We'll be talking about beach soccer. I mean, your state, they're actually getting ready to have something that Edo did the last time. Kebbi, of course, have been having this beach soccer league, but Akwa Ibom will be the next stop when it comes to beach soccer. We will talk about that, and of course talking about Niger Super 8. That's a tournament that is starting this June, where all clubs, both academies, anyone, once you're voted in, you'll be able to take part. We'll talk about that. Details will be on the program. Now, of course, we'll also touch down on FIFA Under-20 Men's World Cup. Indonesia stripped of the right. Argentina happens to be the only country to have submitted bid to host this particular tournament, and it's May 20th. We don't know if FIFA will have to shift the date because of what happened in Indonesia. And of course, we'll talk about IOC. They're responding to the criticism they're being faced because of the inclusion of Russian athletes. I mean, Thomas Bach is not happy at all because he said, well, it's really deplorable for most European countries to be talking about Russian athletes not having the right to come compete. I mean, he went all out for all of them.
I remember we talked about it on the show when, you know, Russia, you know, when the IOC said Russia is free, you know, of the ban. And I said that we will not see the end of it because some countries will come for the IOC, you know, and like, why are you doing this when we know what's still going on in Ukraine and all of that? But I think the IOC, they just say, hey, fair play. The game is fair play. Let's show some spirit of sportsmanship. What do we know?
Well, we'll find out on the program. Of course, Austin, we're starting off with this big news coming from FIFA. We have a date for the 2023 that will be holding in 2024, the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, CAF have actually released the time for it, the dates and everything. It's ready for them. And of course, we just take a look at what is like for CAF. And they're saying that from 13th January, that's when it will be taking place. Talking about the Africa Cup of Nations 2023 that will be taking place in 2024. So January 13th, that's when it's starting, and the final will be February 11th. That's the date for it. 6 countries already qualified. Yes, Nigeria is on the verge of qualification. We have just 2 games to go. And that's what it is like, right? If you can just see the countries that have qualified before I bring in Bolu into the conversation on this one. If that January, February is okay, especially with European countries, some of them have been complaining for that date. But then CAF is saying that they are going to be having more sponsors, more viewership because of what happened in the last Nations Cup that was in January, February. So they're not going to shift it. That's the time they are sticking with. And the countries that have qualified, as I mentioned, happens to be Algeria. They're part of those countries that have qualified. You have South Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Burkina Faso, and Senegal. They've all qualified. So you have 6 countries that have qualified for the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations: Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, Tunisia, Burkina Faso, Senegal, of course, as host nation, Cote d'Ivoire, making it 7 countries that are in it. These are the countries that we know that will be taking part at the Africa Cup of Nations that have qualified, confirmed qualified teams. You know, Nigeria is on its way to join these teams. Of course, you know, we're going to be having 24 teams at the Africa Cup of Nations. Bolu Omoni is in the studio. It's a Thursday, so he's right here joining us on the program. Bolu, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, sister. I thought you were not going to mention Ivory Coast as the team that are already in tournament. You will bring the tournament to Nigeria, but it's good to be again on this beautiful Thursday evening. And the Indonesia scenario is very weird. Although joining them, we are hearing Peru and Qatar also submitted B. 3 countries that didn't qualify directly, and they want to pass the back door. But like they say, one person's own spoil, another will go better, like they do in the local parliament. It's unfortunate, and in the NPFL, I think we are loving the game, the women's game, we are loving it. We are seeing different competitions. IMC, I started with criticism for them, and believe me, now that to an extent they are doing well, they deserve all the kudos. This is what we want to see. Different sports, everybody getting involved. There are some private guys getting involved. That's what we say all the time. The government will not do anything. The more the merrier. Let's enjoy sports, football everywhere. One thing is certain. When we have many people involved in sports, violence will reduce. Yeah, and of course, more money will be in football. Austin, let's bring you into this conversation concerning the scheduled date for the Africa Cup of Nations. Yeah, everyone expects it's going to be June, July, but it's not happening. CAF is sticking with that January, February. I hope they can just stick with that. We don't have to have it. A particular country is hosting, you have it in January, and another country is hosting, you have it in June. That's really not a good timetable at all. Will they stick with this one? Well, we really don't know. But it's a good thing that they are going back to January, February, as we know it, Africa Cup of Nations.
And I think going by the results of what they achieved from the last competition in Cameroon, CAF will be pleased with that, January, February timetable. And it's a good way of also saying that, look, we are not puppets to FIFA, because that's what I've always thrown at Patrice Motsepe's CAF board, that it's like they don't know how to do anything unless FIFA steps in. So now, for them to say, look, we don't care what's happening in Europe, we don't care about their club competition, this is our own competition, and we want to host it so and so time. And I think I'm okay with it. And it was a buzz, a fine competition we had in Cameroon. So let's see what this will give us in Cote d'Ivoire. But it's very important that CAF, takes a good look at it and see if it will suit not just the commercial angle, but also players, management, the coaches, preparation, particularly the fans. Also, if the fans love it, the game is built for the fans. If the fans love it, then let's go. Yeah, everyone will have to key in and follow. So the 34th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, you're going to be having it in Cote d'Ivoire, and it's January 13th to February 11th. That's the day you have Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, Tunisia, Burkina Faso, and Senegal are the teams that have qualified so far. The draws will be done in September. Of course, the real date and the venue will be confirmed later by CAF. And also, based on the research, according to CAF, they talked about the fact that they had a record projection of TV audiences and stadium attendances, which Austin just mentioned. Is that the reason you're sticking with this, with what happened in Cameroon, to also have that projected audience that's been expected to, to watch and also attend? First of all, I think CAF's biggest mistake was switching that summer thing. Some said maybe to suit South Africa, some said to suit Europe. The truth is, like Austin said, it's our tournament. Nobody will tell you how to lead your house, because the change there, to an extent, remember clubs in Europe, especially the top clubs, used to compete constantly. Suddenly they stopped. Then when they moved to summer, they were going back to January, then they started competing again. Similarly to what we saw, the World Cup, I don't think it will ever happen in the winter again. When we are used to something, people will talk like they say, let them see. We are used to this competition happening January, February. Clubs prepare ahead of time. Suddenly you give them sugar. You are now telling them don't leak again. No, they will still want to leak, they want to milk. Asian games happen in winter. If you like lament, if you like complain, the players must go. Son, you bring out to take leave from sports. Luckily, they won the tournament. If not, he'll probably just be leaving his military camp now. So you know the screens already. It's just that if you don't sign African players, all of them play in Africa, maybe to even help us develop our continent. So you know now. Imagine Sadio Mane playing in Senegalese team. This is March 2023. AFCON is January, February next year. So whatever plans you need to do, at least win the league ahead of time with good points. So if you miss your player for 2-3 weeks, it won't be that bad. So it's happening in January, February, and we love it. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, maybe they will miss players a week or 2 weeks. That's for those in serious countries. Those that will jail in group stage, they should not bother. All right, Austin, so throw this to you. Beach soccer this is good because the more, the merrier. So Akwa Ibom will be having a 2-day beach soccer tournament. This is really good. Edo State did it last time. We have the Kebbi Beach Soccer League that is always going on every year. And this one is coming to join them. Yeah, this is awesome, and this speaks nothing but development. This is the growth of beach soccer in Nigeria. And I love it, Cecilia, because Channel Sports, we've been, one brand that keeps pushing the Beach Soccer Federation to do more. when we started covering the Lagos Beach Soccer League, it was practically us, just the Eco Beach Soccer. We were telling people that Nigeria has the potential, to, empower the youths. If you can't play on grass, try the beach, and we do so well as a country with beach soccer. You mentioned Edo. There's also the Kebbi Beach Soccer Competition. There's also the National Beach Soccer League. And now Akwa Ibom will be having a 2-day event for beach soccer development. 4 teams will participate. And for me, this is the way to go. That's the president of the Beach Soccer Federation, Mahmoud Khadija. And he's been doing so much. And Bolu, when you have this sort of events, it gives you an opportunity to assess the development of the sport, to get more young persons into beach soccer, and that's how to develop it.
There's no better way to do it than like this. And some person will tell you, do they have beaches or not? I say, sand is sand, irrespective of where it is. Even if you park sand indoor, so long it's sand, that's what the beach soccer is about. It's not necessarily the location. It's the sand itself that makes it beach soccer. And the truth is, if I was the president of the federation, I would be excited that, people are now getting involved. These are the things we want to see every time. We say it every day. Sport ministry will not do everything. NFF will not do everything. Let people also play their part. State FAs and co. Even if it's an individual, you may not have the money. If you had the idea, walk up to brands that have the money. You bring it up. Now, if I'm a football player and I feel, maybe I can't play on the big field, I don't have the strength or I don't have the idea, let me try some. Many guys that play football from grass would like the sand on the court. So if you feel this can work for you, beforehand we used to pack players in the NPFL to play beach soccer. Yeah. Now that there are many beach soccer competitions everywhere, you can easily go there and scout for national team. These are the kind of things we want to see every day. That means you can easily say, what do you play? I'm a beach soccer player. Not that I'm an NPFL player that I like to play on the beach. No, this is my job. This is my profession. Now that if it continues like this, you start seeing investors. I think there's an idea. And these are the things the world body used to invest money into. People are doing this thing. You get world grants for it. I think I like what's happening in the Akwa Ibom. Right. We've seen Akwa Ibom. Well, we are used to seeing Lagos. So hopefully other states will also catch from it. Not just beach soccer now. Pack everything. Let's be involved in every possible sport. I'm tired of going to Olympic Games with 3, 4, 5 competing sports. No, let's compete in everything, just like South Africa are doing.
You have more money for that. Okay, they supply the money. Obviously, all the teams will go. Badminton won't have missed out in Birmingham. Yeah, they said finances. All right, talking about new tournament, there's this new one also coming up. We mentioned it on the show yesterday, but today we'll have a detailed information concerning the off-season football competition. It is Niger Super 8. And of course, this is coming for all teams. It's going to cut across board, be it academies or anywhere. And one thing about this is that the teams that will participate, fans will be the one to choose these teams. That's why it's different from what we've had before. Fans will be the one to choose these teams. I mean, you go, you vote, a website will be open April 10th, you pick the team, and then the teams that have the highest number of votes, of course, will be the one to participate. Of course, we know once you know that you have fans, your team will definitely be there. If they are not really present on social media and stuff like that, it might just be difficult. Well, let's just take a listen to Jenkins Alumona talking about this, the aim of the Super 8 and what it will bring to Nigerian football. Of course, Austin and Bolu will react to this.
I believe very strongly that once they see and they feel that passion back, that excitement back in our sports, that we will have an upward swing of our football. Because it's about enriching the ecosystem. If the clubs see a benefit and the players see a benefit and they give their best, then Nigerians will start to love their football again. As I keep saying, in some other parts of the world, people go to watch Zamalek and go home to watch Liverpool. There's nothing wrong with following the European leagues and also following your own league. So I think that what has happened is that at a point there was a total break. So people now have left the local league and they started concentrating on the foreign ones. But we're saying that they can do the two and perhaps eventually will abandon the other one. But first of all, we have to give them a reason, the impetus, to be here and watch us. If you mobilize your fans, it means that you have the fans to mobilize. And then it means that they will come to see your games, or even if they can't come to see your games, you have people. I mean, that's why we are happy that the earliest partners we got was the super duper television system that even shows, I mean, your own channel, so to say. So if you all of you are chipping in and making a lot of positive noise around the tournament, then people will come and see. And when they come, we expect them to see the best football.
That's what it's all about. I mean, this is big because 100 million naira is the budget for it. What I mean is the budget for it. That is for clubs. So as you're playing, you're getting 3 million naira each. So clubs that will be taking part, they will be smiling this off-season if they get into the Super 8. Austin, I mean, you listen to him just talking about this new competition that the modality is kind of different from what we've had before. We have geopolitical zones, that's where the votes will come in from, and then they converge in Uyo, and after that they come to Lagos for the finals in June. Something different happening in Nigerian football.
Sounds good. I love it, Cecilia. Shout out to Jenkins and the team. Now we're thinking, you know, because when you do this, you're building it for the fans. You're building it properly for the grassroots. And with this, you're going to, you know, get organic followership. Now, the problem with league football in Nigeria is because we don't play enough competitions. Now they're saying this is open for everyone. If you're an academy, if you are Surulere local government, you have a team. If you are in Ijora, if you are in Akwa Ibom, wherever, just come. The fans select you, and you're part of it. When I was coming back from Doha after the World Cup, I sat beside a guy, and I introduced myself. We got talking. He says, an Arsenal fan. And I said, oh, wow, Arsenal seems to be doing well. I said, no, not the Arsenal you know. He's a fan for the reserve league. So tell me more. So down there's a reserve league. You told me they have the academy league, they have the coaches league, they have the neighborhood league. There's so much happening in the ecosystem. That's why football is developing at every level. So this is the way to go. This is what we need to do to get football back on track. Let's take more reactions as regards this Super 8, and then Bolo will jump on the conversation.
Doing is to make sure that we develop the game of football in all its ramifications, from the grassroots to the upper level. And what Fly Kite is doing is to make sure that teams are given the opportunity to be part of the Super 8. And of course, who will be those to select the Super 8s? It is the fans themselves. So it is very unique and capable of bringing hidden talents in Nigerians, which Nigerians are known for. I've always been saying in Nigeria, if you are looking for a talent, you discover one, there are yet many undiscovered. And this kind of competition is capable of fishing out those talents that will be for national and international consumption.
And I want to assure you, there is not going to be crossing of borders. There's not going to be interference. They've well articulated the program. And they said, like what we heard, that is going to be after the season. So it's like a pre-season for the clubs. So after they finish their league, they've rested a little, they key into this so that there will not be dull moment. So it's like a transition. You have played regular league, you have rested, you are playing in Super 8. It will decide as a prelude to the main season that will come in. So there's no dull moment. These players will be fit and good to go.
It's another concept of how league should be, and it's not. I don't think it's a competition with within NPFL. We have NPFL already, but this is another dimension which I think is going to contribute a lot to the development of football in Nigeria. We need all this glamour in our league. We need all this and definitely most of the NPFL leagues are going to be chosen too. So I think it's a very, very good development.
Saint Monsieur Adequachu also, giving that one some thumbs up. Cecilia, I love this. I think this is the way to go. And now, if we keep doing this, then we know properly that we're putting our football into the hands of the fans.
Yeah, that's what it is. The fact that the voting channels will be open April 10th, and of course, our clubs will now have opportunity to tell their fans to start voting once it is opened. And according to the organizers, they said they're going to be having a globally renowned independent audit firm to ensure credibility of the process. Bolu, you listen to Austin and, of course, listen to Muti Adepochu talking about, people are thinking, you have Super 6, what happens to that? It's not going to interfere. With NFF also coming in, NNL, IMC, all of them, they were all there at the event, when it was launched yesterday. And, of course, the reaction of how this would definitely just help grow the football ecosystem in the country.
Well, the fact that the league bodies have endorsed it just means they are in support. It means there will not be any clash. And one thing I also like about this is it means if you want to participate as a club, you have no choice but to have good relationship with your fans. Good relationship. Explain to them that you guys will do that. And the interesting thing is it's a win-win situation for everybody. I mean win-win for the organizers because they will have huge traction. And at the same time for clubs, this time you will beg your fans, please, no violence. This is what we want you to do. So I think it's a brilliant awareness. The fact that they've said it way ahead of time. You can start begging your fans now. We need your vote. Imagine having 1 million votes just to have your clubs participate in this competition. So I think it will bring us back home. So for you to compete, it means you have lots of fans that voted for you to be there. Yes, there are wild cards, but don't bank on wild card. Bank on qualifying through the process. So I love it, and it's similar to what we said about the beach soccer. Now, this is another competition. Yeah. These guys did not wait for state FA. They didn't wait for anybody. They put it out there. Yes, you can say there's money, but some people have the money and they are not doing anything. So I think I give kudos to the guys that are organizing this tournament.
All right. We'll go for a break, and when we come out, we'll be talking about what MPFL is doing this season and what they intend to continue doing in the future. All right, it's time to talk about Nigeria Professional Football League. I believe with that Nigeria Super 8, since it's going to be in June, it's going to continue yearly at clubs. The management of all the leagues across Nigeria will understand that they have to be on break by June, so I believe they will have a concrete calendar. How to also motivate them to know when to start and when to finish the league. All right, games that were played midweek, we just run through these games. Benin Insurance, they're having draws back-to-back. First it was Eimba when it went away, and of course at home they couldn't win. We just take a look at the games that were played midweek. Eimba and Nasarawa United. Eimba also, they had a draw against Benin Insurance. Now another draw against Nasarawa United. Nasarawa United only won how many games this season? 2 so far. Benin Insurance and Akwa United, another draw. The first one was a 2-0, but then the reverse fixture happens to be Akwa United taking a point away from Benin Insurance right there in Benin City. Shooting Stars and Plateau United 3-2 go first. It was Gombe United and Kwara ended 1-0 in favor of Gombe. Academy Warriors and Remo Stars going away from home to get that victory. That's results coming from Group A. So let's move over to what we have in Group B. Dakada and Bayelsa United ended 1-1. Niger Tornadoes and Wiki Tourists 2-0. Sunshine Stars and Doma. Of course, you have Abia Warriors and Enugu Rangers. Let's just take a look at what the groups are looking like. The table, because this is a bridge version. The table was looking like. You have Insurance, of course, in the group, still topping. Out of 11 games, they're yet to lose 7 wins, 4 draws. Not really looking good. Then the goal difference, you have 10. Of course, they're on 25 points. Remo Stars, they moved to second by virtue of the fact that they went away from home to get that victory against Academy Warriors after 11 games on 20 points. Akwa United, the third, 19 points after 11 games. Nasarawa United, of course, 9th, and Academy Warriors at the bottom. Now, for Academy Warriors, they've won just 1 game this season, 2 draws and 8 losses. Nasarawa not faring any better. 2 wins, 2 draws, 7 losses, goal difference -6, and of course the point 8. So these teams not really looking pretty for all of them. Bolu, for you, I think the game of the weekend, the game of the midweek that all of us were talking about was Benin Insurance and Akwa United. That game, the way it played out for Benin Insurance, I'm sure that's not the result they wanted. A draw at Eimba, they expected to come home and of course get a victory against a team that they defeated the first game of the season, but now a draw, and they're going to be going away from home against Plateau United.
It just shows 2 stanzas are completely different from each other, like we call it in the NPFL. But I think it's because they played 2 top oppositions. Yes, the results have not been 100% brilliant for Eimba and Akwa United, but again, when push comes to shove, you still know that Organa master. So I think it's not too bad picking up draws against those opposition. Just that they themselves, they raised the bar so high that everyone expects them to win almost every game. So 2 points against Eimba and Akwa United, I think it's not that bad. But for me, the other game that took my attention had to be Shooting Stars and Plateau United. That was a game and a half. The last 2 home games for Shooting Stars has been 2-2 draws. The last 2 away matches were losses, so they ended their streak of not winning in 5. So I think it was also a good game, but it's hard to look beyond what that Bendel Insurance are doing. But I think they have to be careful now. Yeah. Because teams now know, okay, this is what you guys have to offer. It's easier to get to the top, even harder to remain at the top. Everyone is chasing them now. They built a healthy lead, yes, but if they are not careful, they can still drop. And also Remo Stars as well, they are back to where I expect them to be based on the start they had, based on their last season. Let's see if they can also maintain. The draw for Iba actually helped Remo Stars get to third. Group A has to be the toughest group. Despite acquiring a Rivers United shaky form, dropping points, having an outstanding game, that's still top of Group B. But that Group A, well, you expect it when we have 6 or 7 of the top 10 last season in the same half. It's the beauty of the game, actually.
That's what it is. Austin, I mean, Aqua United and Benin Insurance, we were waiting for that game. You were also waiting for that game, but then they had to share the spoils in Benin City.
They had to Cyril Olisema with a very important goal for Aqua United. Aqua United got into that one. Remembering what happened on match day 1 in Uyo, this Bendel Insurance team, they went into that one with so much spark. And they won. And I keep telling people that it was that first win of the season that has kept Bendel Insurance unbeaten. Because if you start your season that way, you just need to keep the fire burning. And that's what they're doing. But let me show some love to Remo Stars tonight. Because this is a team that has shown good consistency. After playing continental football, I said Remo Stars needs to prove to fans that it was no fluke. And I think they're doing just that. They defeated Nasarawa United on match day 10 and again gave a good result on match day 11 to make sure that they keep that Group A as competitive as it can be. Let's go to Group B, where I want to also show some love to teams that just gained promotion. Niger Tornadoes and Doma United. Niger Tornadoes, they recorded their 5th win of the season. Doma, their 4th. Both teams, they've recorded more wins than Enugu Rangers.
Let's just get confirmation of that, what that group is looking like. Rivers United still top of it. Of course, they have a game in hand against Lobby Stars that may be played on later date because of their continental assignment. After 10 games, they're on 19.5. The goal difference is 5. And of course, they've lost just 1 game this season. And that loss was against, of course, the newly promoted side, Doma FC. And for Lobby Stars, they're second, 90 points. Same number of points, but goal difference is the same. But the difference is the losses are more because they've lost 3 games this season. They've won 6. Abia Warriors, they are on after 11 games, third, and of course 18 points for Wiki Tourist and Dakada. Not looking good for these 2 teams. After 11 games, one is on 9, the other on 8. -7 and -6 goal difference. And for Dakada, they've lost 7, and for Wiki Tourist, they've lost 6. They're teams you look at, you expect them to do more, but then it's not looking good for those 2 teams. So we're resting MPFL here now, and quickly we are resting the games, and now let's talk about the administrative part of it, Austin. Just on Tuesday, yes, there was a press conference that was held with their sponsors and their partners. They were talking about the prize money for the league, and that prize money happens to be 100 million for the winners, and of course they want to peg they want to peg the earnings, the wages of players at 1 million. That was part of what they discussed. But then Davidson Owumi has been talking about what IMC has done to be able to record so many successes in a few times and hoping that they can build on it. But the funny thing is they actually rate them at how many percent? At like 40%, that they can actually do more. Let's listen to Davidson Owumi, and of course we react to these before we go to Austin.
So we announced 100 million package for winner because we know so far so good. We have done so well.
It's a very modest beginning, okay, but at least some of the basic necessities have been stabilized, okay. Payments of referees indemnity stabilized, the league on television stabilized, welfare of players stabilized, okay. Then what other thing again? Maybe the officiating level is almost stabilized. So within the few months the IMC has taken, with the cooperation of the Nigerian Football Federation, the Ministry of Sports, I think you can give them 40-50% so far. okay, for jobs they have been able to achieve within this time. And looking at the Super 6, it's a springboard, okay? Because immediately we finish the Super 6, you know, once we finish the Super 6, then the first 3 teams there are going to the continent, okay? We think that with what they have gone through, you know, the rigorous games they have gone through in the league proper, and the fact that the Super 6 is going to be an open thing, the winner takes all, okay? And no room for any backroom stuff. I think we're going to present some very capable teams that will represent this country. Not sure any player will tell you that for now will complain of being owed, because the club licensing is taking care of it. We also have an antidote to clubs owing their players, you know, on payables, overdue payables. We have it there. We have how to deal with it, and I'm sure that no club will want to get into that fray of owing their players right now.
I love that last part of it, right? That's what we want to hear. We pay the salaries. Well, I mean, MPFL so far this season.
I say it all
excited with it.
If your job, you know your money is safe, you will ginger to do your work. And I think it's really modest by the 40-50%. It's obvious he has raised the bar for themselves that even despite the little we think we've achieved, we want to do more, and we are still halfway through. And I think the preseason tournament there was held that gave about 100 million. I think they've set the benchmark now. Nothing below this. Look at the Nigeria Super 8, 100 million, MPFL champions, 100 million. So now you know you are fighting for something, and you are sure you are going to get the thing you are fighting. We've heard that we don't know if they paid the last 2-3 champions of MPFL, but now you know this one. It's certain that at the end of the season, wait till Super 6. We think we've seen football. I'm sure the Super 6 will be way, way more interesting than that. So far, I think I'll rate them over 50% based on what we've seen so far.
Okay.
But that rating still means you can do more. Like they'll tell you, no teacher will tell you you're 100%. Even if you're 110, they'll still tell you you are less. It's just to encourage you to do much more. There's more to be achieved. We want money involved. They talked about that. I don't know. We've never seen confirmation of the licensing, but at least he said it's sure that no club will owe players. That's all we want to see. Not that a team complaining that 6 months, 8 months, nah. We don't want to rate things like that. So I'm happy for the MPFL. I'm happy for those that used to say nothing is coming out, or now something good is coming out of the Nigerian Premier League.
Austin.
I agree, you know. This is what it means to, you know, put your money where your mouth is. You can't keep talking about development. You're not ready to invest. And when you do this, you drag in more sponsorship, you give the league more visibility, it gets more credibility, and then more followership comes into it. So you're playing football and money is not coming into it. David Siomi mentioned about club licensing. Now, they gave clubs, I think, 10 million before the start of the season. Tell me, a club that has been in the league and they've not made 2 million in 2 years, and now they have 10 million to work with, that's something. You know what? Before David Siomi started speaking, we saw the INC chairman, Benga Elegbele. Let's listen to him, and then we'll come back to talk some more.
Package for winner, because we know so far so good. We have done so well that sponsors are now coming. They're interested in what we are doing. I'm sure after this season, the next one too will be more than 100 million, because it's all about image. It's all about image and packaging. And since we have the image and people believe in us, these guys are doing well. They are ready for transparency. Our sponsors will come. They were bringing in television into the league for the first time after years. Then those are going to be sponsors who have visibilities for their business. Again, it's not free of charge, but they want visibility for their business. So Nigeria League should be viable enough so that sponsors will come and believe in the system.
Sports is now business in Nigeria, and the structure we have delivered is to help enhance, energize, and deliver on all the potentials that we have as a country as far as football is concerned. Remember, we used to be a very highly rated football country. Today, all of that, degenerated and came down. We suffered all of this because we didn't have sustainable structure. So what GTI has brought in form of partnership is a sustainable structure that will make the league and Nigerian football to grow from where it is today to a very enviable height.
That's right. That's what money does, That's what proper investment does. Create a sustainable structure. And sincerely, I hope that they sustain this momentum. Not that tomorrow when the IMC is no more, our football takes 5 steps backwards and then we start asking, what happened to the good times that we saw last year?
Yeah, we don't want to go the way of basketball. I think this will definitely continue. IMC or no IMC, they want to build a structure. Once you set the structure up, obviously you want to follow up with that. That structure is what is more important than any other thing. So we'll leave MPFL and quickly touch down on what's going on with the under-20. When FIFA stripped Indonesia just yesterday of the rights to host, everyone was thinking, will they postpone it? But now you have countries actually coming out. The first to confirm was Argentina. According to FIFA President Gianni Infantino, who happens to be in South America, is in Paraguay for the Congress of the South American Football Confederation that will be taking place tomorrow, which is Friday. So he confirmed that Argentina, they've actually, are put up to say they want to host. And Bolu, you mentioned that some other countries are coming out, countries that didn't qualify, they just want to take the spot of Indonesia and, of course, have the opportunity, host, and, of course, play.
Yeah, talking about Peru and Qatar. Well, since Qatar felt they didn't destroy all those stadiums, so they have what it takes. Okay. So life is just weird. Put him out in what is not your business. So you were telling FIFA to ban a country that qualified. Yeah. For you that they gave a free pass. Probably they think we have it already. The tournament is just about 2 months away. But the truth is, there are nations that are ready. It's just about hastening things up. And FIFA have said, yes, there's still, unfortunately, about 200, almost 200 people died during the we will still compare it. But for this one, we are taking it out completely. And I think I like their stand.
They have their banner, everything.
They will remove the banner and put it in a big country. But based on Argentina's level, I think it's between Argentina and Qatar, because Qatar just hosted the World Cup and Argentina's level.
No, Qatar, son. No, I'm not sure it's going to go to Qatar. Nobody wants to enter winter on the 20th. Well, we don't know what FIFA will do. Yeah. But then the more money. Austin, we'll leave this one and quickly go to... your thoughts on this before we go to IOC, because that is really important.
I think we've said it all. Let them just have the competition. Let the Flying Eagles go there and see if they can give us some memorable moments. I don't care who is on.
May 20th, right? They have to.
Yeah, I just want to see the youngsters play football. That's all.
That's what I want to see. Okay, let's quickly talk about IOC. I mean, what is currently going on? Thomas Bach really not happy with what Europeans are saying concerning the fact that they are bringing Russia to participate. Let's just listen to him. I mean, when all the things he had to say, then we'll react to this, and of course, we'll be leaving the show.
We have not seen a single comment from them about their attitude towards the participation of athletes whose countries are involved in the other 70 wars and armed conflicts in the world. It is even more deplorable that they grossly neglect the very clear statement of the 2 special rapporteurs from the UN Human Rights Council, while in other issues they're always highlighting their firm requests for the respect of human rights.
Human rights is important. 70 countries involved in war. Austin, you have to wrap this up on Thomas Bach clearly not happy with the comments coming from Europe.
Yeah, you should expect that, I mean, it's all about interest, so and the world is divided as regards this. I'd like to see Russia, compete. The game is fair play. You also mentioned human rights, but what is happening in Ukraine? You can't really blame people who are coming for the International Olympic Committee for what they did. It is what it is. I'm fine. Sports Tonight is okay, and our fans are happy. That's the show in London. Mustin Okonakpan, in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, Bolu, you listen to IOC President. Just your thoughts on this before we leave the show.
Well, it's more like agreeing with both sides. Yeah. They both have a point, but who has the power? IOC, and they made their decision. So it's always good to be here every Thursday evening.
Yeah, no politics in sports, right? Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great night, right?